Hello and welcome. It is a poker night video as I'm playing a 2% Bitcoin buy-in tournament. The duration of time is an hour. I'm in second chip position right now with 17,000. Started with 10,000 chips and 9 people remain. As far as the payouts, top 3 pay. It works out to 11.28% of a Bitcoin for first, 6 2/3 for second, and about 4.5% if you finish in third place. This tournament could take another hour, maybe a bit more. I shouldn't be surprised there was 12 people because this is the first time I'm playing it, and I know one of my subscribers is playing it as well in crypt at 14,000 in chips as well. So 2 people. I will be playing again, most likely 95% chance. I'll be playing Sunday, the 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 noon Pacific, and somewhere around dinner time, after dinner UTC time. And I'll be playing that game in there. So then, let's see if I can go through some of my hands. I've been moved from table to table. Oh, 10 of 10. I've had some tough decisions earlier. It's not even showing my hands. I made a couple good bluffs. I made a good hero call that was correct, calling with Jack high when my opponent had 10 high, and I figured the best he had was Jack high as well. And this is a long break now. It seems like it's been like 5 or 6 minutes already. So what I'm going to do within this video, I'm only going to show key hands. I'm going to try to make this. I'm hoping it's a half-hour, 40-minute video because I win this thing. And I'll go through the key plays. Okay, I got dealt a monster hand if I was playing low ball. I'm going to fold it, but I like to sit on the lower side. So I'm going to put my seat here and show you the next good hand. I really hate getting pocket fours in this position. However, still good enough to play. You become the raiser. Overall, I've done mathematical tests, just the fact of simple raising. I took tens of thousands of hands. I don't know how many it was, but I just did stat analysis on hand history, and mathematically, the first person who was in with the raise were ahead out of like so many hands. It was like sick to go through that data. I'm gonna have to fold this. It sucks. And I was gonna fold. If I was like earlier, but even here, if I was sitting at this spot, I'm on. I know it's a little early, and it sucks to have to fold that. It really does. He's either got 2 overcards or he's got an overpair. I suppose I could ship it. You couldn't call. It was either fold or go or make an all-in raise. And you got decent equity if you raise all in there, and I mean you got a shot of the fold. I really try to get the maximum efforts for that, but what's the percentage they call? And if it's anywhere near even 40-50%, because you don't want to see pocket jacks, queens, kings, aces, and oh geez, you got like a 20% chance, and then you're hoping for a 50% chance. Oh, you're either 20% or 50%. No, thank you. And I want to get my showdowns in, especially when I got good chips with a very high probable situation. How many big blinds do I got? Don't got too many. I got about 30, and I knew it was going to work this way. This game started at 11 p.m. Eastern time. It's a little after midnight now, and I'm going to be tired at 1. So I'm really confident it'll be over or there or close to that time. So that works out well for me. So with 30 big blinds, I got to play. I want to try to go for the big pots, but I got enough chips, especially more than most people, to be able to make plays at pots, because everyone else is in. A lot of people are in all-in mode, and I think I'm close to it, but I'm still second in chips. I don't like suited connectors too well. I really don't. Not the low ones, anyway. I'm not a big fan of them. Anyway, I'm going to pause the tape. In the big blind, I like the position of the big blind only because you have pre-flop position. King Queen's an okay hand. Long-handed, it sucks, but it's no longer the situation of playing long-handed after three people fold. It's mid-handed. The call, marginal. If you hit a king or queen, you're almost committed to it. Like a jack 9, jack 10 combination you could also play. Pot's 2,400. That's adding about 15-16% of my stack. I really do hate this situation. I really, really do. And he's raising an early position. It's about the worst hand I would fold here. Suited, I would play. But what I do look in this situation for is what's the all-in math and what's the probability. So the all-in math there was adding like 15, 16, 17%. Not bad. Probability of a fold. You know what? It wasn't bad actually, which is why I was kind of tempted to make an all-in re-raise on him. But again, I'm in a good spot where I don't have to take that risk at this stage of the game. Blinds have just risen to 3 and 600, and it's an interesting situation. Ace 5 on the button. I hate this hand, but it's favored over any two random hands. It's definitely profitable to come into play. You're in the situation where you can min raise. Randolph Clay will determine what I do. If he's in any way, I fold. If he folded, I would have raised to 1,200 to try to take down the pot, and if I get called, to outplay the opponent. Why I hate this on the internet is because in real life, at the table when I make that play and I get shipped over the top and I get a read of weakness, then I'll probably 4-bet all in. Of course, that's real game where you can actually read opponents. The pot's 1440, and I also have a bad spot of 20 big blinds. I still don't always know what's better, to put a standard raise in or just ship it. I know with like 25 a standard raise, 15 all in. But this is the worst blind situation that I would want to play. Now, if he comes in over the top, I'd almost have to play almost anything. There's going to be a lot of range of hands that I think I'd either be ahead or racing against, that it's really a no-brainer call, especially because we have 3 and 600 blinds. And I barely have over 20. And I have still the second most. So we have Merge, who's got barely over 10, 12. Donk 4U2, who's got like 17. Fat Cat with a dozen. Rudolph Clay entered this hand with about 20, a blackjack, 21 or so. This player has like 21. Encrypt has 20. You have under 10 now for, we'll call him Bitcoin. And the chip leader only has, 6, 12, 24, 40-ish plus big blind. So it's basically a crapshoot, which I've heard people say is doesn't have any skill in it, which is the furthest from the truth, although not as skillful as a very deep tournament, which is what I'm hoping and think. And by the looks of it, Sunday's tournament is going to have more participants. It's a much better tournament, but I'll be looking to play that one as well, as it's, I think, it's 20 tokens, which works out to 2% of a Bitcoin on this site. And it pays a guarantee for 600 tokens or 60%. So that's like, you're looking at 40 people. You're looking at about a 3-hour tournament. And that will have better blinds. But I do enjoy playing these turbos like this when I'm tired, because it makes the decision making so easy. As a lot of the decisions are just going for the all-ins, or, okay, I can maybe do one call here. I'm going to raise this, then look for that as a final play. There's really less decisions to make. Okay, we have an all-in. Fat Cat shipped against Donk for 2, who held a flush draw and missed. And now we got a reasonable hand again in the big blind. And if it was folded to donk for you too, you go all in, it would be an easy call on so many levels because of the pot odds to call him, because he's going to tilt a lot of times. Unfortunately now, good, he didn't. I was going to say he's probably going to ship on me after this limp. One of my plays back in the day was when you're in the big blind and there's a good pot, 2340 is pretty good, is just ship it. But I'm kind of eerie when early position callers limp in. And if I flop top pair, which I do, I'm probably, you know what? Why would you lead out and so fast? If you got a queen, queen jack maybe, but I think I can call and at least get information if the inflow is playing kings or aces. He's sneaky on me. No, he doesn't got kings or aces. He could have a flush draw. I mean, why would he lead out so good if he had me beat? And so fast. But he could have a flush draw. Does he have a straight draw out there? Unlikely. So I'm going to call and then try to get him to bluff off a flush draw, I guess. And then reduce my losses if I'm beat. At least I can stay in the tournament. I do want to get a bigger pot if possible. Now, would you have a frickin' 5? Oh, man. What kind of value would I get if I do a value bet here? Does he have like a queen 8? I mean, that's why I want to bet. But I'm okay at 11,000 chips. I'm happy with 2021. So, yeah, let's check and hope it's good. It should be. Yes. And that's exactly it. You lead out like that. He was drawing dead pretty much. So a lot of times I'll protect in situations on the turn there, where if I realize I have the best hand, but I think they got outs against me, even if they're relatively thin, like 8 or 9-ish kind of deal, I'm going to want to protect and go all in. But you have to look at times for where would they might bluff. And I would have been a tough decision. Does he have a 5? Because I realized the straights possibilities were looming because he did limp in from the small blind on that position. So I had to put that into play as well. Okay, I'm going to give away a good situation here. I was hoping Rudolph Clay was going to fold here because I know if I would have min-raised here, I know for sure if Encrypt would have raised me, he would have easily had something good, and there's a high probability of fold. Because if I'm ever in a game where somebody I know is like, say, someone I'm just playing poker with for the first time, I can exploit the situation and have a higher probability of a fold. Also, there was a situation earlier in the game where somebody just doubled up from 6,000 on a starting 10,000 to like 13,000. Next very hand, I bluffed the guy with 2-8, 2-6 or something because I knew he'd fold. Easy play here. Ace Jack, it's a terrible hand in this spot. You don't need to play it. Maybe he's got Ace 10 or Ace 9, but you want to be going in where you have a better shot of getting them to fold, which means I'd have to 3-bet here. Don't want to do that. And if someone's coming in showing strength early, you got to be wary about those ace queens, ace kings, and all those pairs that are probably going to defeat you. We're also in an interesting point of this tournament as Donk for You 2 goes all in, where there's not been many eliminations and the blinds keep going up. I've seen this happen a few times, which means the amount of blinds the average person have is low, and there's going to be a period pretty much coming now where there's going to be a bunch of people leaving this tournament because the action forces such. And we have an all-in as Encrypt has went over the top. Isn't all-in against Donk for You 2 or the big blind merge would be against Alex. So we're going to have a showdown. And we got Ace King versus Pocket Eights, and Donk for You 2 will double up. And then this game of everyone with short stacks will continue. And now the blinds have risen to 500 and 1,000. So 15 big blinds, 14. I got that dreadful 20 number, but it's not dreadful when it's a good chip number compared to everyone else. 12, this was 9, 530, 5. Everyone's short stack. I have a rule on how I play 5 and less. You pretty much go all in whenever. And then 5 to 10, you can be very barely selective. You can only really go one round of folding in a hand. And then 10 to 15 or so, you got a little bit of leeway room. But it's pretty much just this. You're getting big all-in bets, and that's how this game is going to play out. Lead-off bet. I'd be a little weary of the flush draw and or like king 10 queen combination. Having two of those three is a possibility. A lower pair and just try to get off. Would he play this with an ace? I don't think so. I've seen it, but it's not likely. And there's that flush draw that we talk about. And that's when you see all of the lead out kind of deal. What's the story the person is trying to say? And another all-in where the short stack happens to take it. Rudolph Clay down to a little over 2 big blinds coming to this hand. I'm left with under 19 after the big blind has been put in with a not so good 7-10 hand, and now I'm going to be forced out of this hand all in. Rudolph Clay is automatically priced in, so unless he makes a huge mistake, we're going to see a showdown on this hand. And if this tournament keeps going, I guess Randolph is going to win it, as the short stacks have won every single all-in recently. I'm going to presume that these guys are going to fold on the right-hand side. And I'm going to fold too. So we got ace-6 versus ace-5, and we have an elimination now. So we're down to 8. And Jack-King on the button. I love this in the sense that I got pre-flop position and, well, post-flop position too. But same strategy I talked about before. If it's folded to me, Encrypt is easily not going to come over the top on me unless he's got anything. But I really wanted to take this down because I could have easily min-raised it to 2,000 and then picked up the 2,300 in blinds and antes. Now, again, I got to fold. But he's doing a lot of raising in early position. So you see that you got to open up your range of hands a little bit. And we're going to see this hand now because he's all in, and it's an obvious call for Alex, unless either one of these two ship all in themselves to price him out. So it's a no-brainer call, like 2,800 or so to win 10K. You're getting easy pot odds. Even if you have 2-8 and you're making a move, you still have to do it. Don't tell me he's going to fold. Oh, my goodness. See, you learn about players. How do you fold that? I've seen that happen a lot, but how do you fold that? But what you do is you write a note. And now you know. We have an all-in from Donk For You 2, called by Fat Cat. Alex has either got to call or push Fat Cat back. We've seen made a bad call, fold before with a push, so he could do it again, I guess. Pushing back, so we got 2 people, jacks, ace 8 and 9, and a couple people are going to hit the bricks. And that brings it down to 6. 2 people don't get 3 people don't get paid, so we're in the 50-50 mark. How desperate am I? Well, I'm around that 15 number, so I'm barely desperate. Cut off position, and I hate this hand. I really, really do hate this hand, but the situation that I like. And if you don't have anything, I got you beat, and I have to take pots down. I win this pot. I really hate these situations, though, with the ace and weak kicker. I mean, I technically could. If I had a little less chips like I had last time, probably would. I mean, I barely thought it was reasonable to go all in last time, and now I think it's barely reasonable to fold. 9 kicker, definitely 10 play. No question there. Suited, no question again. Pocket pair of fours or fives and above, I push in that spot. Here's a spot where the big blind is forced to call any two cards. He's pot committed. He does folds anyway because he was pushed, and just because of the mathematical odds on this price for his chip stack and his probability of placing in the tournament, it was his best option even to call it 2-8, 2-7 offsuit, and I would have had to pretty much call anything he had as well. I'll take the walk there for sure. A walk in poker is defined when you get a everyone folds to you in the big blind. I hope everyone folds so I can oh man, this is a tough spot because I got like 18 big blinds, but no, it's easy. I could min raise it, but what am I going to do if he comes over the top? And I don't want to have a play on it. If I'm just going to make a play, usually it's a fold. If I get called, I can still possibly win by getting lucky or beating a king queen or king jack kind of hand. But this is where the state of this game happens to be played, where you just really got to make the pushes. 8 and 1600. You got under 2 big blinds, and I mean, no one's got that many. When you have a situation here with queen 7 suited and the cutoff 33 in the pot, you got 22. I'm tempted. Queen 9, queen 10 suited is a no-brainer push. 16,000 chips, 17,000 chips or less, it's again a no-brainer push. If I have 40,000 chips, I could put a min raise in. But you got to find the right timing selections, how many big blinds you have, how many other people have. If I'm in a situation where chip average was 40 or 50 big blinds and I had like 15 or 20, like this many, or chip average was like 60, 50,000, then I probably would. Interesting spot here. Now I can try, because of my position, put in a min raise. Again, this is a type of hand I'm going to be less confident about playing an all in. I know pocket 7s, 8s are hands I don't mind going up against on the mathematical level when I've put in a decent amount of chips in. And I'm going to be forced to call this one, as long as Alex doesn't go over the top. And if he does, I'll save a few chips. And just now I got to hope to get lucky, because I might be in bad shape if he's got like a king queen or an ace jack. I'm gotta hope I hit, or maybe he's got like a king 10, and we're gonna see. Showdown's coming, and it's 3-3 spade. There's my king, there's my flush. So yes, that works out well. So now we're down to 5 people with one very short stack. Maybe we can be on the prize bubble after this hand. Merge Buster, as far as I'm concerned, is already priced in. But he was the last time he was in the big blind as well. Easy call now, because you got the 1600 dead chips that I'm going to have to fold, and then you got this pot, and then it's only costing you another 1693. Alex folds. I would have 2-9 offsuit. It's a fast call. And it's not like there's any prize bubble where you can just fold and wait to get a payout. That ain't happening. Of course, he's a huge favorite to get eliminated next, and he's just literally letting his chips get destroyed. If he limps in, I can team up with Inflow to eliminate. And now let's try to take a pot. I've already played this guy for the most of the tournament. I know he's capable of folding here. So let's try to get him to do such. Most of the time he's going to fold, usually about 60% of the time in this spot, making it a very profitable play. And then if he only calls, I can still get lucky too. But if he calls or raises, there's not much more I can do. I got to fold any raise, and I got to have the right situation on any type of flop if he calls, which I didn't want to see. So now what would he call with? Ace. 2 of them are out there, so probably not. So let's just see if he will play a 3,000 bet and try to take it down right now, because I don't think I can check and take it down on a later street. I really think I have to do it now. There's no draws out there that's going to want him to call to hit or re-raise to try to play on a semi-bluff. He's either got the ace or he doesn't. Okay, I guess he's got the ace, or he's going to play that pair of whatever, like eights or tens, and just, would he go? I don't think I can bluff this off and have great success now. Maybe I can, and this is where, I like playing live because then I can have a physical table read. Sometimes you go aggressive for pots when you're making a play. And look at this bet, 3,500. I really got to put strength on his betting patterns here. So I'm going to have to fold. Next hand, ace 4 of clubs in the big blind. I like my chances of taking this pot if he folds, because this is the first situation I've ever raised his blind. And I figured that if he called or raised, I obviously would know a very good range for what he would have. Merge Buster is either all in this turn or next turn. It's next turn. And now with Merge Buster being forced in the big blind, I could... It's a part of me that wants to make a raise and try to go after it, but I'd rather let this thing play out. Not a bad time to call for inflow and try to team out to try to eliminate. It costs 2,000 though, even though he's only put 1,000 in. But we're going to get a showdown. He has blinded himself out all the way down to one small blind. If he wins this, he will get 1, 2, 3, 4,000, unless Encrypt plays, it'll go to 5,000, which he does. He's making that big push over the top. So it looks as if we're going to be interesting spot for inflow to, well, how do I want to do this? Do I have, especially if you have a hand like jacks, ace, queen, ace, jack, I mean, you could easily be beat so badly here. It puts you in a tough spot. And there again, you have jacks and you're up against aces. I mean, I've seen that spot happen so many times where you can really tell strength in somebody. And when you have a pretty good hand, you just have to let it go. That's the purpose for making raises and waiting for information at different times, if you can do that rather than pushing the chips. I'm favored over any random hand. There's 3,800 in the pot. It's going to risk me an additional like 12,000 max to do it. I'm going to be at 12,000 if I lose. He could very easily call with the worst hand as well. So it becomes a really easy play to make. I guess this is going to probably be a two-parter if this thing continues as long. I didn't think I'd talk so much about different strategy and different stuff like this. Let's talk about what I call a dogfight. Well, not so much anymore. Where you're at a bubble, like a short-handed bubble like this, and you're waiting for one elimination, and everyone's got around the same stack. That is, it's actually fun poker. And usually in that, I'd be very aggressive if I have a top 2 stack. Ace 3 on the button, and this is the second time now that I'm trying to go after Encrypt's a big blind raise. Easy decision on the over-the-top raise. If it's inflow, I'm going to have to call. And if it's Encrypt, I'm going to have to fold. And I can count strategies where I've been on the inverse here, where I'm sitting here, and I know they're doing this to me when I'm doing to them, and I've made so many re-raises over the top with like junk hands in these type of spots. And I mean, they say that great chess players can think so many levels ahead. I don't even know how to play the game, and that surprises me because I love games and game theory. But I understand what they mean by thinking many levels ahead because I can do so in this game. Another situation with having an ace, you're hoping for a fold here. Because I'm going to be really uneasy if he puts a raise in. Because then I could put an easy all-in raise myself. Try to take down this pot. Oh boy. Yes, come on, hold. Okay. Sweet deal. Sweet deal. We got her. I'm in the money, and I call it money. I used to say, I'm in the currency. I can say I'm in the money now because this is Bitcoin. And Well, it barely passes. Barely passes. Encrypt made a raise on the small blind, shipped in by Alexeto, so I'll see if Encrypt was trying to make a play at the pot or not. I'll know if he's capable of it, and now, see, this is good to know for me. We're close to heads up, and I want to know what kind of heads up strategy I'm going to have to implement if I'm playing. And if I'm playing Encrypt, then I'm going to know that he's a little crafty. And when you're short-handed like this, if you got an ace, especially a 9 kicker is not bad. I mean, it's not great, but it's better than the 4, and which was what the last person played. Well, that sucks. Well, I'm still in it, but that sucks. That's short-handed. And this is why I like trading cryptos, because there's less of a luck factor involved. And now let's ship this king high. And mathematically, it's actually the right play. Anytime you got a hand that's better than average, then you got to play it. King high will work here. 4-9 suit on the buttons, an easy fold. Short-handed, I got, what, 5 big blinds? I kind of hope I need to double up. Okay, well, it was an easy push. It was an easy call. I do got enough big blinds where I can still make this work. I really have to decide here. I mean, I've already went after his blinds several times. Some of them were legit, but I could have called too, I guess, because I think he might be nice and check. And I'm pretty much forced in with 9-7. I have a rule. Once you're at like the 5 big blind number and you're in the big, unless it's all in call. I mean, that's the only way I can like fold. And that's prize jump purposes, so I'm all in no matter what now. If he pushes, I got no choice but to call. And hope to get lucky. 7-9 I need. I got it. I got her. Still in it. I'm still in it. I got an okay amount of chips to work with. And this is where I try the call if he folds, but he doesn't. He doesn't. All right, let's move into the next hand on the button. It's an easy fold. Now, next hand, I'm not forced in like I was before because I'm going to have 11 big blinds and I can afford to lose one. I don't like doing so, and whatever best decision I'll have is what I'll take. Not a good hand, and if now my break call on the 9-7 is going to make him not want to bluff hands and value bet more. Like, hey, why are you calling with 9-7? And of course, I've already seen him not see. This is where I want to make a move here. But does he call me with a flush draw or straight draw of some sort? And I really don't want to take that chance. He doesn't got anything. Maybe he's got a pair of 9s, maybe, but I really can't make that bluff. And I've seen him lay hands down, and I know, but it's a tough bluff to make there. I really, really want to ship this. I really, really do, because I think I can take it. I mean, I should. I so should. I mean, it's a terrible hand, but it's like, what, 90% I'll get the fold? I should have. I should have. Short-handed. Ace-5 suited. It's going to be an easy play if he does any call or raising. It's all in. If he folds, I take the pot. I like playing this way when I'm tired. It's very easy decision-making. And if I'm ever playing a big game of real stature, which is basically defined as real poker, meaning many big blinds, then I have to be really focused and raring to go. How many big blinds do I got? Oh, it's under 10. No brainer. He's probably going to fold 90% of the time. Okay, let's move on and fold the 2-5. I'm tempted to ship here. I know he's more likely to call than Encrypt would be. I'm definitely beat. I got position. I can see the flop. That's good enough for me, even though 7 kicker's weak. 5,000 is a pot. You got 25,000. He could have a straight draw, flush draw. I'm actually like seeing the bet for 2 reasons. 1, I think he's less likely to have me beat, and 2, I get pot in there. I've already seen him play. I know he makes plays all the time. So when he happens to have aces, when you have another ace, then that's going to happen. We got a dogfight now with 3 people left. I've been winning some pots, and this can go either way. I think this is the first time I think I'm limped in against Encrypt. It is. I'm tired, so my memory isn't always the greatest. We have a straight draw needing a 9. I don't really like the bluffing opportunities later on, especially now because king high is that. So up and down, double belly, straight draw. I'm just going to check it down. If I get a king or my 9, I'll value bet the river. I got to let him have it if he takes it. And there's no need to bluff it off. Maybe he might fold a king because he's nice, but I could easily have it, which is what I was going to say. And there's times where you got to realize if you can win by a check, why are you even going to consider bluffing? And is it worth going all in at this stage? No. Because I don't want to play his re-raise, but I want to play his. So that's why I would min-raise. Sometimes I'll just go all in, but if I can get away with the min-raise, even on a short stack system, then I will. And I'm chip leader right now. And I got a queen ace. See, if I was in a situation where I know this person's going to always re-raise me, then I would call and let him make a play. Again, I'm going to get a fold probably here. If he calls, it's going to be ace king or something. I'm just like, okay, and call with ace king if you got it. Man, I want this thing, man. I can. Oh man, do I want to go for a min raise here? I'm going to pass. One of my worst things in poker, when I have a big blind and it's min raise for me to call and it's a crap hand, is I'll still call anyway. But when you only have so many big blinds, you got to fold. The reason why I want to call is because I know what he's got and something good. And if I hit something magnificent, it's pretty easy to tell. But I got to hit 2 pair or better, basically, to do such. But if I have a deeper stack, I'm sure as heck going to call. If, say, I had 100,000 and he had 100,000, I'm calling that. Because if I know you got great, if I flop better than great, which means I can beat a pair of aces, I can beat what ace king would be and all this stuff, especially aces, then we go. Here we go, ace queen, and we have a double up. Okay, so now we have Encrypt on the short stack, Alex with the high stack, and not far behind. We'll see if Encrypt ships it here or not. We'll have 1 free luck going into a very big blind situation. I would go all in given the fact that I'd have 5 big blinds next hand. I'm going to have to fold if he pushes because I got 10-5. I'll do the math. 11-8 to win 20. You got to be right about like 37, 38%. Can't do it. I don't think that's my long-term percent. I'm probably closer to 31, 32. And I kind of want to have like a better edge than that. Let's see. If he puts a push here, I almost want to come over the top. He makes so many raises. Let's look at the pot. 11,000, I got 37. Like about a third of my stack. I don't mind taking 3rd place cash instead of 2nd because I play to win. Boom. Boom, boom, boom. And I take down the pot. We got an ace, and we'll do it again. Now everything's reversed. I probably should consider going all in instead because I didn't want him to really call. And Encrypt's on a short stack, so I should have probably shipped it. And now I give him the opportunity to bluff me out, where I could have been showdowning King Jack now. So I make a mistake. I don't make many. Unfortunate fold there, but I have to again. Now, I'm really not being nice, but I'm here to win. I have to fold here. And it sucks because I hate giving walks. I really, really, really do. If you knew on the table you see me fold, well, I guess he's got a bottom 10% hand because that's all I would fold there. Encrypt pushing the small blind on Alex. If he can double up here, that would bring a little dogfight in again, but takes down the pot, giving some more equity going into the next round of blinds. A marginal hand, bit below average. A Jack-4 suited. You beat about 40+% of the hands, about 40%. Which means if I take, like, say, 100 random hands, about 55 of them would be better. 2 and 4,000. Now I got under 10 big blinds. Alex has got 15, and Crypt has got 4 back. Now, if he pushes here back, he's not going to get a fold. But you do got extra good equity to pretty much play any 2 cards. If he folds, man. I mean, you've seen him do it before, which actually makes it a good play when you know somebody's capable of it. And there you go there. That 5 is meaningless, but it's a chop, though. And I learned my mistake last time min-raising the ace. So let's just push this now. And if he's going to get it king-jack, make him call with that ace turn. GG. Well, I'm still in it. No, I'm not. GG. Alrighty, so I won 4.5% of a Bitcoin. I also lost 5% earlier, so I basically made 2% today. And an all-in situation, and within Alex and Encrypt, Encrypt doubles up and is back in the game. Encrypt now moving all in, 5 king against the queens, doesn't hold. Great play to ship king 5 offsuit because first person in does well. And heads up, what are the hands to ship in these stacks? Any ace, any king, any pair, well, any, most of the time 10 low, but even a 9 low hand, suited connectors. I'll be playing on Sunday unless something happens, and I'll let you know probably beforehand on the 3 o'clock game. And that will be, it's the little BTC, I think they call it, 20 tokens, 600 guaranteed. Thank you for tuning in and have yourself a great day.